I've worked this forest for 17 winters. I know how snow sounds when it settles. I know how trees creak when the cold tightens them. I know the difference between wind moving through branches and something moving between them. That night, the radio call came just before dusk. A solo hiker hadn't checked in. Last known location was a trail that should have taken him back to the ranger station before dark. The weather had turned fast. Heavy snowfall, dropping visibility, temperature sinking hard. I told dispatch I'd take it. By the time I reached the trailhead, the forest was already changing. Snow fell thick and straight, swallowing sound. My boots left clean impressions behind me, but ahead the path looked disturbed, not footprints. Not exactly. The snow was compressed in wide patches, like something heavy had shifted, its weight again and again. Circles, half moons, drag, marks that stopped suddenly, as if whatever made them had lifted straight up. I knelt and touched the snow. It was warm. That shouldn't have been possible. I radioed in, told them I was proceeding but wanted backup staged. Static answered first, then a voice, faint, stretched thin. Copy. Keep eyes open. I stood scanning the trees. That was when I realized the forest had gone quiet. No wind, no branches, no distant animal calls, just my breathing, and something else, a sound like snow compressing behind me. I turned slowly, flashlight cutting a narrow tunnel through the snowfall. Nothing, but the snow behind me was no longer untouched. Fresh impressions pressed deep into the ground, long, uneven shapes that didn't match any animal I knew. Too wide, too deliberate. They hadn't been there seconds earlier. I moved on, faster now, following the trail toward where the hiker's beacon last pinged. Visibility dropped as the trees grew closer together, their branches forming a ceiling overhead. Then I found the camp. A tent, half collapsed under fresh snow. A backpack torn open, supplies scattered as if dumped in a hurry. No blood, no signs of struggle. But the sleeping bag lay outside the tent, flattened, pressed down into the snow like something had laid on it. I called out, voice swallowed instantly. My radio crackled again, this time not dispatch. Breathing, low, slow, too close to be interference. I snapped the radio off. That's when I noticed the tracks. They led away from the camp in multiple directions, overlapping, intersecting, circling back on themselves. It looked less like movement and more like hesitation, like something unsure which way to go, or which version of itself to follow. The snowfall intensified, thick enough now that my flashlight reflected back at me, blinding. Shapes moved at the edge of that light, tall, thin silhouettes that vanished when I tried to focus on them. I told myself it was fatigue, cold, stress. Then one of the silhouettes stepped forward. It didn't walk. It unfolded, joint by joint, rising from the snow without disturbing it, as if gravity didn't apply the same way. Its outline wavered, like heat distortion, but the darkness inside it was absolute. Where its face should have been, there was only depth. Endless watching depth. I backed away, heart hammering so hard it hurt. The thing didn't follow immediately. It tilted, listened, as if reacting to my thoughts rather than my movement. Then my radio turned itself on. Dispatch, clear this time. Ranger, we have visual on your signal. Backup is 20 minutes out. 20 minutes. The thing shifted at the sound of the radio. The snow around it began to sink. Not from weight, but from absence. Like the ground itself was giving way. Another shape rose to my left, and then another behind me. They weren't surrounding me. They were adjusting. I ran, the forest distorted as I moved, trees repeating, paths folding back on themselves. Every direction felt familiar, wrong in the same way. My breath burned, lungs screaming as cold air cut deep. Ahead I saw movement that wasn't snow. The hiker, or what was left of him. He stood upright, frozen solid, eyes open, mouth stretched wide in a silent scream. His shadow didn't match his body. It twisted, elongated, pulling away from his feet toward the deeper forest. I skidded to a stop. The shadow lifted its head and spoke, not aloud, inside me. You shouldn't have come alone. The shapes closed in, snow falling harder now, erasing my tracks behind me. My radio screamed with overlapping voices. Dispatch, backup. My own voice repeating warnings I didn't remember saying. Then headlights pierced the trees. Engines, shouts. The shapes recoiled, folding back into the forest, sinking into the snow like they'd never been there. When backup reached me, I was on my knees, hands buried in the snow, shaking uncontrollably. They asked where the hiker was. I pointed. There was nothing there. No body, no camp. No tracks, just untouched snow stretching into the trees. That was 3 nights ago. The forest is still quiet. And tonight, my radio turned on by itself again.